Hi everyone, how are you doing today? I'm here to talk to you about the experience I had with the Vipassana meditation. Now, this is a book I got from a friend of mine, and I took the time to read and reread, and I actually went through the book 3 times, and then I took notes. So when came the time to go to the Vipassana meditation, I knew what I wanted. I knew why I was doing this, and I felt well prepared. Now, what is Vipassana? Vipassana is basically a technique of inner introspection. It's a time for yourself to know what's inside you, get to know what's inside you. Vipassana is made in 2 parts. The first part is it's 10 days, 10 days of pure silence normally. And the first 3 days you learn something called Anapana. Anapana just means learning to calm your mind. And after those 3.5 days, then you are ready actually to start the real Vipassana. Vipassana work is about feeling your body, getting in touch with how you are doing inside. Now, we were about 100 people, you could say, maybe 60 men, 40 women. When we got there, the first hours we could speak, could chat, get organized. And as soon as the 10 days would start, I wouldn't see the ladies again till the 10th day. And since we weren't allowed to speak, even if in the dining hall we were eating together, 2 big separate dining hall, there was a curtain dividing, so I could hear the cutlery and the coughing or stuff like that. But basically, I forgot the concept of women. As the days go by, as the same thing, I forget the concept of my own voice. That's very interesting. So they actually call it the noble silence. So during those 10 days, there's 5 rules you must abide to. Simple common sense rule, do no violence, do no harm. And noble silence, that's the term one. You're fed, you have your own sleeping arrangement. Now, part of the rules also is beside no speaking, is no radio, no TV, no, of course, internet, no telephone, no contact with the outside world whatsoever. No reading, so you don't bring books. Don't bring any magical objects, any ritualistic objects. And no writing. So no journal keeping. Now, I'll have to say, of all these things, the journal, since I've been doing it for the last 40 years, has been the challenging part. Anyway, so I'll show you what happened. So, this is my Vipassana bag, my treasure chest, you could say. So as we started doing the Vipassana, the first 3 days is about what you call the monkey mind. So your head just goes around and around and around. And it was good. It's true, the first day I got not so much fed up, but really like, this is hard to do. Second day, some people did leave. On 3rd day again, some other people left. But by the 4th day, my mind was calm. I discovered something, silence, just very enjoyable zone silence. When you say you get into the zone. And it's something I still have with me today. It's been not a week yet, but good 4 or 5 days since it's over. And this thing I've discovered, because Vipassana is about having your own experience. There's knowledge, there's faith, but it's about experiencing it yourself. So by experiencing it yourself, you speak from your body, from your heart, from what you felt, and not just some theory. So the first 3 days, I went there totally gun-ho. I'm a very intense person. So I read the book, I did my annotations, and you're not supposed to do any breathing exercise, but I ended up doing some kind of energy work, some chi, feeling the chi work. So I went really deep inside, and some really memories started to happen really fast. And it was wonderful. I mean, I've been on my healing journey, my loving healing journey for quite a while now. So I wasn't really surprised or overtaken by what was coming up. I saw other people maybe were having a hard time. But I had tools. I had tools to handle. So some of the tools you might know. One is the Ho'oponopono, the Haitian Hawaii tradition. Heart math, which is about breathing, slowly breathing. And the tools are focusing. Focusing is very similar to Vipassana, but then you're doing along with somebody who's going to help you on your journey. So, as a journalist, as a writer, I felt these experiences were so important that I wanted to share, but I didn't, I'm a very straight person. So, no phone, so I left everything at home. I didn't even left it in somebody's car. So they were quite surprised when they asked me, do you have your phone? I said, I don't have a phone. No writing tools, no pen, no papers. And I abide by the rules. They say, okay, this is the game. You want to get it to it. So I didn't bring anything. But I felt there was so much important information coming out. I needed something to keep track of it. In between meditation, because we do kind of meditate about 9 hours per day, it is, get up at 4 in the morning, 4:30 till 6:30, first meditation, 6:30 is breakfast, and the day goes on like this till at 9 o'clock is the end of the day, and by 9:30 you go to bed, and you do sleep quite well. In my case, I did. So in between, you do have breaks. I didn't want to lie down, because if I lie down, I would break my sleeping at night. So I stayed awake every day, and we were in the countryside. So whenever I got the chance, I got outside and I walk in the forest, and that was wonderful. And then it hit me. I can't write, but as I walked through the forest, I saw objects that, reflected what I just learned. So I got this idea, I will find a symbol. I will find an object that will remind me, that will embody what I just learned. And this is what I did. So this is my Vipassana treasure chest. So it was Halloween. This is why there was pumpkins there. And actually, while we were there, we got a 2-day power outage. So this is perfect for Halloween, 2-day outage all night in the jungle, but in the forest. I was always looking for a bear to come in. I'd love to see a bear. I would be scared, but I would love the idea. And so I started to build my treasure chest of souvenirs, and they were laid out there. And then 6 days afterwards, something else came up. But first, so like a kid at Halloween, woo! This is my what I got on my Vipassana. So there you go. So I put this away on the side for now. Oops, things falling here and there. Now let's see, and I actually numbered them, so I'd be able to follow the journey. So this is number 1. Let's see if I can do this properly for you guys. So now I remember this is, okay, let's say number 1. Number 1 is, well, it's not so much this acorn. No, not acorn. I forget how you call this, but it's from a tree. And the first thing I saw, which was wonderful, was these little Swiss, these little squirrels with stripes on their back. And they're like, they're so busy. They're so going around like crazy all the time. And this is what they were looking for. This is what their little, and actually that's the sound they make when they go through the leaves. It was foul. So memory number 1 is when you try to calm the mind, your mind, they call it the monkey mind because in India there was lots of monkey, but the squirrel, you know how the squirrel moves like that. So this is a state of the mind when you start Vipassana. You recognize, you identify that your mind is like this little squirrel, and it just jumps from one idea to another idea all the time. So this is step number 1 in my journey. Step number 2, let's see if I can find it. There you go. Is now, after a good day, a day and a half of Anapana, being able to concentrate, suddenly the mind clears up. And you discover something new. You've got rid, the squirrel is fed, come, and you start to see this beautiful harmony in life. So these are actually the seeds. The seeds goes in there. And once you get rid of the seeds, you got this beautiful, peaceful, harmonious mind. Now this is my biggest takeaway from my whole 10 days, is that in each one of us there's this peaceful state of mind, of equilibrium, equanimity. That's the new word I've learned in my vocabulary. Equanimity is just peaceful balance. So this came to me from number 2, day number 2. So number 3, can I find number 3? This is number 7, number 9, number these are great. 12, 11, 9, 7. I didn't want to organize all of this. I want this to be spontaneous as you're living it with me here. This is number 5. This is number 4. 3 should be close. This is number 3. This is number 3. So, busy mind, squirrel mind, equanimity. Amazing, amazing. It's true. I would like to teach you, to help you to find this in each one of you. That would be my gift. I'd love to do this for you. So, number 3. What did I find in number 3? Oh, I lost number. Oh, there it is. Number 3. Ah, there you go. Number 3 is my 2 little acorns. Okay, and I don't know. So when you find your peace, the thing about Vipassana is that once you make peaceful, then you can listen to actually what your mind is saying. You can listen to what your body is saying. And this is the first step where the bad shit that was made to you, the bad stuff, and the bad stuff you made yourself, you know, things you might feel guilty about, comes to the surface. The bad choices, the bad mistakes, the things that you would, let's say you use the word shame, that you feel bad about, comes. But you learn to accept that this is part of you, that's who you are, that's part of your past. So as I finished that meditation, I walked around accepting my past, accepting my mistake, and I saw these acorns on the ground. And when I found them, I look, and then there was this one with this little hole in it. You know, this little hole in it. And then I say, oh, there's a hole in it. And then I say, I must find one where there's no hole in it. And I just went, and I went to like 10, 20 of them on the floor. And they always had a hole, a little hole of a bug, you know, eating it inside it. And that's the nature of it. And I got a flash. I said, well, that's what life is about. It's like, life is not about you being perfect. You will always have a blemish. You will always have done a mistake. You will always have something you regret you've done or somebody has done to you. That's where my Ono Hono'opono helped me a lot. You know, Hono'oponopono is about, I'm sorry, please forgive me, I love you, thank you. And then when I saw these, I say, well, yeah, of course, I understand now. Life is not about you being perfect. Life is that everybody is having the same struggle. We all made mistakes. And that's okay. We're beautiful that way. Don't try to be perfect. Don't try to correct your mistake, because there are no mistakes. There's things you've done or things that have been done to you. But that's okay. Then you just go on living from there, you know. The quest for perfection will just destroy you. So this is what I've learned on my second or third day from Vipassana. Now, number 4, let's see if I can, okay, here's number 4. Now, look at these little guys. They're just rocks. Now, at the same time, these like the third or second day, I was doing like Anapana, Vipassana, energy work. I was just like so involved, like chi works, like my hands were glowing. I saw some light. It's just like, I was hot. I was really hot. You know, I just felt my body dissolving. It's just like, wow, just great bliss, ecstasy, or nirvana, or call it what you want. And then when I went out from that session, everywhere I look was like, oh, I felt like a baby. I felt like a child. I felt like, wow. I look at the sun, the trees, everything. And then I look at these little rocks and was just fascinated. So it's just like a child just rediscovering the beauty of life, the beauty of matter, the beauty of everything. So this is what these rocks are there to remind me, that, you know, when everything is new and everything is magical, everything is beautiful, you know, it's just like everything is beautiful the way it is, and everyone has their unique quality, you could say. So this is number 4 in my journey. Number 5, this is number 5. What will I find in number 5? So you see, I do have quite a mental mind organizing everything. Okay, number 5. Yeah, number 5. Now, this is a little husk, a flower that has hundreds of seeds in there, very beautiful seeds. And in my journey, now this is even before we started the heavy duty Vipassana meditation. And then this husk was about having the experience that we are now, you and me, living in the present moment. And then my reflection about that is that, where is the past? Where is it? Like, all the people I've met, all the action that I've taken, everything that has to be happened to me, where is it? I mean, in the now, as we speak in the now. I'm not saying about memory. Memory is just, it's not there. But physically, all of these things are gone. So, memories are like these little seeds that are inside. They are now gone. And what you're left with is a shell. So in the present moment, you have all these memories, but in the present moment, there is no past. Everything that was done to you, everything you have done, it's gone. I mean, this is why some people can just, they just leave, they just go, their past is irrelevant, and they go and they cut all the links, everything they've done, and they change life. So yes, you can rewrite your life, because the past is nowhere. There is no past. There is something they're called memory and stuff like that, and knowledge, but the actual past is same as the future. It's not there. So this is to remind me, this husk. So the husk, you could say, is like my body. This is where I am at now. But all my memories, all my past, it's non-existent. Past is non-existent. There is no past. You recreate it every day. And so this is number 5, which brings me to number 6, which is, where's number 6? This is number 10. Number 7. Now, is this 9 or 6? No, 12, 11. Let's put them in order as I'm going along. This is number 10. 9, 10, 11, 12. Number 1 we've done. The 7. Okay, so it must be hidden in this file here. Okay. Number 6. So you're reliving Vipassana with me. Thank you for being there. So, number 6. So, no speaking, no radio, no nothing. No, they call this, don't generate any new sankhara, which I understand, Don't, whatever you discover, you don't want it to make it a new problem. You want to clean the old stuff. So the idea is that whatever new stuff you discover, the old stuff you discover, they don't want you to make it stick to you. They want you to let it go. They have this great image which I like. It's like a memory, either it's like hitting the water, so you get a line in water which disappears right away, a line drawn in the sand, which would mean will disappear eventually, or a line, carved in stone. That's when you say, I'll never forgive him, or I'll never forget this, So they don't want you to make new of these things, They want you to clean everything. So as stuff come up, they want that new stuff to come up, to just fade away as it came, and not to be established as new stuff. So I do understand this. So number 6 of my Vipassana. Now, these are little strands, and basically this number 5 was me, a husk. Number 6 is to say that, well, actually, every person, so these little things are like little people, and they're filled with all these lines. It's like, I live in the present moment and my past is gone, but everybody else is like me. Everybody else that I see around me is living the same thing, is living this idea that they're getting conscious that they have their whole past, and that the past doesn't exist anymore. Okay, so each of these is basically one of my fellow colleagues at the Vipassana, and just to get the feeling that what I'm living, they are living. You know, to feel it from my heart. And actually, when I was doing some energy work, I didn't intend to, it just happened. I felt from here my connection with everyone in the room. You know, from here there's something, but physically I was connected. So step number 6 in my journey, which was at the same time as step number 5, 5A, 5B if you want, is to say that what I'm living is the same for every human being, every person. Every person have their loads of past. And when you meet somebody, when you talk with somebody, then you're talking with how are they dealing with their past? Are they, I wouldn't say stuck, but are they reliving constantly their past? But it's their relationship with their past. It's their struggle. I like this way. It's a struggle. What do you do with your past? So, very important. This is when my heart, when my hair was connected with everyone. You know, that's a great teaching. That whatever you live, everybody lives. Not necessarily the same way, but as human beings, we all have to deal with the past, with our past. So, very important step. Number 7. Feel like a drum roll here. Okay, number 7. Number 7. Ooh, that was a very fragile, little one. So it's a shell. Okay. Now, this one, I'm trying to remember very good. I'm looking for number 8 to say if maybe number 8 is gonna help me. So this is number 7. 9, 8. Well, these are other things here. Number 8. Oh, okay. I remember what number 8 was. I think number 8 was. Oh no, that's 10. 9. 1, 2, 3. No, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 7. Okay. Wow. So I think I misnumbered them. What's number 9? I really like doing this with you guys because it reminds me of, you know, there's number 8. Sorry. Yeah, okay, my story makes sense. So this is number 8. This is number 7. So number 7 is about feeling your past. Okay, I'm just going to put a slide it back so you can see what I mean. Okay. And the one before was about handling your, figure out everybody has a past. Now this is about, I think this is when people leave. This is when the hardest step is when you start to feel sorry, the tape stopped. This is when you feel all the pain that you always repressed. This is a very painful step, and this is why it's a shriveled up leaf. This is when you finally made quiet. The squirrel mind is calm, and then you feel everything. You just start to feel. You feel your hurt, you feel the mistakes, you really feel, I wouldn't say you feel shitty, but it's like, this is, you know, just look at the leaf. I mean, what more can I say? yeah, this is pain. This is a very, very painful step. That's the beginning of Vipassana. Vipassana is about that. Goenka says it's a chirurgical intervention. Okay, it's a kind of a birthing process. It's a birthing process of whatever you have inside of you. It's coming out. So very painful step, hard step. Now, after this, step number 8, what happened? Now, this is very strange. Not strange, but same idea as 5 and 6 is the idea, if you can just get close to it, is the idea that, again, everyone is feeling that. So you have your pain, you have your story, you have your history, and it's coming up, it's coming out. And you can grasp that everyone is the same. Everyone is struggling with their past. That's why the noble silence or the not speaking kind of makes sense, because if you get out of there and you just speak out to everyone about, oh, my story, my life, my this, my that, or listen, or listen to their story, of course there's some good in that, but it doesn't necessarily make you accountable, make you own, because in the end, once all the water has run out or under the bridge, it's your bridge and it's your water. You have to let it go. It's your job. So Vipassana is a very humbling in that way, in the sense of, yeah, you own it. You own your life. You own it, you own your life. So this is a reminder, this was my experience, that whatever depth of pain, of feeling I was going through, everybody else was the same. Everybody in the room was the same. So very, very important to relate what I'm living to what everyone else is living. Now, number 9. This, very interesting, is a piece of a mushroom. And the mushroom, I was looking for well, I'll just explain to you the experience. So, as I say, I was going full board, full on, and with the Vipassana experience, you scan your body, you scan how do I feel, what is happening to my body and stuff. And then, if you can actually go different levels, and then you can scan inside your system, your body, your blood system, your organs, your skeleton. How are they feeling? And I was able to do that. And I started to go into my kidney and my liver and my heart and my lungs. And these mostly were my families. So my connection with my family and what was happening with my family. Extremely strong connection. And each organ, in my view, I love the English language or any language, because you have image. Like it's hard to digest some news. It's hard to digest. Some people are pain in the back or stuff like that. So this is to remind me how strong I was able to go into my body and think about where my sister, my mother, my father, my father and my brother, who both passed away, and my other brother, where were they? What was I holding on from them? Did I, not so much grudges or pain, stuff like that, what could I let go of from my upbringing, from them. And just accept it. And the wonderful thing about the mushroom is, if you get close to it, is that there's all these inner structures, like an organ, you know, like a liver and stuff like that. So it did remind me of this. So this step was for me a step of even being able to go deeper inside me and to start to analyze with my family. So this is, I guess, number 9. Oh, number 10. This is amazing. Now, after doing that session about pain and about everyone and about, so this has been a very strong one. It's like I was so in tune. Yeah, I'll put a background here. I was so in tune with what I was feeling. It's like my senses were like supercharged. So when I finished, and it was the break and we went outside to walk, what I saw was really weird. It's like I saw everyone walking and they had this kind of thing on top of their heads. But I mean, you know, you'd see a person and this kind of thing would be like 8 meters high, but basically everybody I saw was walking around, and I saw like all their history. By that I mean I didn't want to read their history. I didn't want to know what they were about, stuff like that, because that's not the place, and that would be invasive for them. I would respect that. But basically it's like I was so in tune with reading my story, reading my inner story, that I was still in tune. And when I look at people, I could see how much they were inside their own stories and thinking. It's like basically I could visualize, I could see they were thinking. And each person, there were like maybe 15 people walking in front of me somewhere. And each one of them had this kind of thing on top of their heads. I mean, like meters tall. And I just felt, wow, they're so busy in their mind. They're so busy thinking about their past and their lives and all these elements and this and that and this and that. So I guess, I don't know, when you're so much in tune, when you've opened a door, then I can see this door with other people. So this wasn't in memory of this one. Whew. Thank you. It's a long Vipassana. Now, 11. Oh yeah, this is 11. I love this one. So this one is about, well, this is just what I've described. This idea that it's basically a leaf, and inside that leaf you get different kind of flowers, and yeah, you can see. And basically this is my symbol to say how much impressed I was that I could go inside my body and analyze the lymph system, the blood system, and I just went through all of these. So I was just impressed, with this idea that I could do this and I could read from it. So yeah, this is just to say how amazingly it's possible, that when you're in tune with your body, it's actually possible. That's number 10. Number 12, and I think it's the last one. Yeah. Number 12 is my feeling of being a elemental. So there was this power outage, and I felt so connected with nature, with all the elements. So after this step of being able to go inside my body, then there was this step of being connected with the whole of life, I could feel inside my body, I could feel with everything. Now, this is not what you're supposed, well, I don't know if you're supposed to do with Vipassana. And this is, you could say, the first half of my journey. Because afterwards, I really went strong and deep inside, and the second half of my journey happened. So I'll get some more water and I'll tell you about that part after. I'm back. Thanks, guys. So now what happened next? So that's the first part. First part is all these elements of introspection. Again, no writing, no reading, no speaking. And people were disappearing. Sometimes it felt like a horror movie where, you know, like, oh, this person is gone. So, very intense guy. And so I'm doing all this work, and over the years, as an artist, I've developed this idea of trusting my instinct. And there came a point where I wanted to get naked. I wanted to do Vipassana nude. I didn't know why, but it just came into my head. And of course, in a group setting, you can't do this. You could either meditate with the group, and sometimes you were with you could do it in your own room. So that's what I did. So one morning, now in this group room, it just happened that I was totally in the back, totally in the corner. And when you do your meditation, you have to close your eyes. So one morning at 4:30 in the morning session, I got there, and then this trusting my intuition in the same way that when I've told you all of these objects, that's because I trusted what was happening inside me. So I did. I didn't get nude, undressed, but as I got there meditating, I basically took my top off. So I was basically undressed from the top off. Now, most people are there with their robes, and they're like this and closed up, which is fine, isolation. And it was kind of coldish, but actually I wasn't cold. I was bare up, but I wasn't cold. And since everybody had their eyes closed, I wasn't bothering anybody, which is fine. And it just felt, yeah, this is good. And as I was meditating, then I started to have a small sway. Now, they say you not allowed to move, but my body was asking for movement, for sway. And over the days before, I was stretching quietly, but just kind of putting my elbow, not elbows, but my shoulders down, and I was doing some body work. Again, not Vipassana, not in the book, do body work, but I deduced from that. So, movement, stretching, pain, and then looking into the pain of things, wanting to get a nice, proud, let's use the word proud, but body. So, after an hour, one of the assistant saw me, and then he came and, very nicely said, put your shirt on. And that was the end of that. So I knew there was another meditation coming after. I got to my room, and this time I did. I just followed totally my instinct. And that's what I did. So I put it in the dark, I put some heating, and I did the meditation. Undressed, totally undressed. And I started to move more and more and more until I got into I've never seen the movie Exorcist, because I'm a scared kind of person. But basically, I got into a catharsis state. And a lot had happened. And I won't describe it here because that's something for you to go further. Maybe it's going to be in my book, maybe in another article, but not in this video for now. So, but something I knew about my past came out, something about the abuses I lived as a child. But the abuses in my youth were mental. I knew about it, but I never felt about them. And this time I actually felt, and from my gut, and it's just I acted out some stuff, and just like it all came out. Suddenly I relived basically my abuse. Very powerful, very, very powerful stuff. And afterwards I was just I felt raw, and for the rest of the day it was difficult to meditate, because I asked myself, should I take care of my body, of my soul, or should I just go, or do the full Vipassana and say, forget all of that and just kind of go equanimity. So I was kind of struggling. But so basically I just took it easy. I eventually asked the guide who was there, and I didn't like what he answered, which was about, oh, you can't ignore what you just remembered. And the whole thing about Vipassana is never about ignoring anything. It's about accepting, embracing, and reaching equanimity, knowing your stuff, and not about pushing it down, repressing, and ignoring. Anyway, so, but one thing that he was right about it is that he said, most likely you're doing it too intense. You're not supposed to do that stuff here. Of course, I didn't describe to him what happened. But when he said that, I did recognize that from me. I am an insanely intense person. So I said, okay, I'm just going to tone it down. I won't do any breathing work. I won't do any energy work. I'll just kind of do the regular Vipassana. I guess this is, So the following days were just more relaxed. But I did accept that in my conception, Vipassana, you move. I'm not into a static Vipassana. So, but respectful everybody, stuff like that. So, electricity outage. Wonderful. But we did have a generator, but that was quite fun. It was a big storm outside, big wind, which was wonderful to live with nature, with that. Anyway, so feeling that I had changed my journey, like my first half of the journey was with all these elements that I've, from 1 to 12, and that I had started a different type of journey. I felt I needed to write down what had happened, because this traumatic memory that I just relived was just too important. But I wasn't worried of creating what they call sankara, like creating lines in stone that would forever mark me. This was the reverse. I was unmarking these deep souls. So I felt frustrated. I need to, I don't want to forget these experiences. So I said, I must get a pencil. But rule number 1 of Vipassana is, there's 5 of them, don't lie. Don't lie. So I won't steal a pencil. I won't steal a pencil because I don't want to lie. I want to do the full Vipassana. So, but in the book it doesn't say don't write. Anyway, so now this thing about where we were, it's a center, and in about almost every room there's a clipboard with a marker and about who wants to clean this part and that part. And then it's like ricochet, and then I got this, I said, in the bathroom of the big meditating hall, there was one there. I could write. I could write. And then that became my salvation or my mission. So what I did is I started to write on hand paper. And I love because this jacket has, the two pockets, but there's this zip here. So by hiding it here, there was no danger of it coming out of here. So I started to write. Not so much of a journal, but my experiences, my memories, what I was living through. And so I created my own Vipassana journey. And this is what I recommend to you. Follow the rules. Get the best knowledge from it, get the information. But since this is about your journey, and you are a unique individual, nobody is like you. No one size fits all for Vipassana. So, my journey went from totally quiet to having traces of what I've learned to, I wouldn't call it liberation, but finally experiencing my traumas. And this is hard. But I had tools. Now, what I would love to hear from other people who live Vipassana retreat, because there's many of them around the world, is how is the staff dealing with you guys? That's the critique, but that's the, I can say, the use your mind. Now, I read the book 3 times. I made notes and notes and notes about the teaching, what we were supposed to do, what could be coming up, and stuff like that. I watched 3 full-length documentaries on Vipassana. So I had a good idea, I think, of what it could bring, what it could be, and stuff like that. Vipassana works. The center where I did it, which was in Quebec, Montebello, I do not agree, put it simple, with what they were doing with the Vipassana. So I'm curious, because they're kind people, they're wonderful people. They took care of us so much. But how there were some rituals over there, some way of behaving, some way of dealing out authority. And the thing is that I didn't see any of that in the book. So, on one hand, there's the teaching, the tool you're learning of Vipassana. And on the other hand, there's what the center, how it brings it out. So there's the content, and then there's the procedure. So my best, in conclusion, my best analysis or analogy is like birthing a baby. It's the same thing. You can either go to a birth house and have a midwife, or you could go to a hospital and have all these high-tech technologies and stuff like that. Now, my wife, I was a happy father of a young girl who's going to be 13 soon. And we live both worlds, because for 9 months we went to a midwife and birth house, and all the warmth, all the love and the care and the, counsel. And for 3 days we were there when it was about to be born, and the baby didn't come out, didn't want to come out, and we were overdue. We ended up giving birth at the hospital. So I actually had the experience of both, of midwife there and the hospital. In the hospital, you have these machines coming out, in and out, all these strangers and the mask, and it's just, the birthing nonstop is like every 15 minutes there's something had happened from before the birth till after the birth. And it's like, I think it's like maybe when the birth is done, maybe there's like 1 hour, every 5 minutes they take a machine away, and it slowly starts to wind down. Still there's people coming in, coming out, and it's just like, it is exhausting. It is like, now in both cases you do have a baby, and I think that's my lesson, is that Vipassana, midwife or hospital, you have this gift of giving birth to yourself. This is amazing. I do wish that, go through the experience of Vipassana. Why not? It's only 10 days, it's fine. But what I'm curious to hear about is, how are other centers treating you? You can birth yourself with Vipassana. You can heal your wounds. You can make peace with your past. Yes, it's true. I agree with it. But in our center, there's people running away. There's people who can't deal. I wonder how many scars it does create because of the way it's processed. So if other people around the world have done other Vipassanas, I'm curious how you feel about the staff and the envelope. So it's been an amazing process. I've actually reconnected with myself. I am a much better man for that. Thank you. But as a critical thinker, in the birthing process, I wish you to find a Vipassana that is processed with a midwife and a birth house, and not as I and my fellow colleagues who did there, do it in a kind of scalpel setting. I do believe it is possible. I do believe it's possible. So, last word. In each one of you, there's this beautiful, perfect, harmonious beingness. And my mission in life, as a clown, as a humanitarian clown, as somebody who's rediscovered peace and love, as somebody who's reconnected to humanity by reconnecting to myself, I wish it to all of you in all language around the world. This is from my deepest heart. This is my wish to you. I wish it to come to you in the most gentle, the most loving, and the most caring way. Take care of yourself. I love you. If you are going for this experience, I do recommend it, but I highly, highly, highly recommend it. Watch the 3 documentaries on it. Read the book. Take notes. And create your own Vipassana journey when you're there. And I love you all. So thank you. I'm sending you a hug. Have an amazing day. and I hope to see you soon. Bye bye. Peace.